If you're anything like me, you'll have been avoiding cleaning the sensor of your digital camera for as long as you've had it. Hello, I'm Keith Mason, and on this channel we offer tips and tricks to try and improve your photography and hopefully offer you some inspiration along the way. So thanks for joining me. I'm calling this video Fear and Loathing of Sensor Cleaning. Well, first off, let's start with the loathing. What I really hate is spots on my photographs. And those are coming from your sensor, those are coming from my sensor. The history of sensor cleaning for my cameras starts way back in 2011, I think it was, 2012, in 2012. And I went on a photography workshop with John Gravitt up in the Lake District. And on the first evening, we had to show our sensors, and this was mine. I was very embarrassed, and I was very grateful that John then took the time to clean it. And he explained that you can do this and it's not too hard to do. But even so, I was very scared of doing so, that I might wreck my sensor, which brings me to the fear part. The fear is that you will try and clean your sensor and then ruin it, and then your camera will become a very expensive paperweight, or that you'll have to send it away and it'll cost you a fortune to replay it. So I've never done it. 2 years ago, before I went to India, I paid 50 something pounds. No, I think I paid 80 pounds to have my sensor cleaned. Which brings me to the loathing part. I loathe spending that much money to get my sensor cleaned, and I also loathe cloning out spots on a picture. So for example, this picture that I took in Lowestoft a couple of months ago, and I'm really pleased with it, and I posted it on my Instagram feed, and I don't know if you noticed that there was a great big sensor spot here. And the way you can look at it is if you go to the clone brush, you can see I've done all of these corrections here, and including this great big one. Look how big that spot is. It's awful. I thought it was a rock underneath the water, but it wasn't. It was a problem. So this is my sensor of my X-T20, and if we go to the clone item and visualize spots, you can see all of the spots that are on there, including this enormous one here and this great big horrible thing here. So I'm going to have to clean it. And then if we also show you my X-T3, this is my sensor, and it's awful. I can't tell you how many corrections I need to make afterwards. So I've decided to put my fear aside, and I'm going to try and clean my sensor. So if you're not sure how to check for spots, what you need to do is pick a f-stop, which is very small aperture, f16, f22, I've got f16 here. Turn your camera to manual so that it's not trying to focus, and pick a very slow shutter speed. I've picked a second, and I'm going to face it at the ceiling, which is a white ceiling, and I'm just going to shake it around while it takes the picture, and that way I can find out where the spots are on my lens, on my sensor. So the next thing is to actually take off your lens and dive into cleaning your sensor. Now, the first thing that you want to do is just rub your thumb around the lens mount. Make sure that there's no dust in it, because if there is, that could fall into your shutter. The next thing to do is grab your rocket blower. Next thing to do is to grab your rocket blower, use gravity, don't let the rocket blower hit your lens, hit your sensor and blow out any free dust that is there. That's sort of the easy part. Be aware that although it's really worrying to get involved in using a swab to touch your sensor, that actually you're not touching the sensor itself. There is a piece of glass over the sensor, so just think about it like you're washing a windscreen. Don't think of it like that, but it's not as dangerous as perhaps you might think. So this is the sensor here, and I'm gonna take a swab and clean it. Now, this is the product that I've used. You can see it's still in its wrapper, so I'm going to take it out of the wrapper, if I can ever get into it. So in this pouch I have got a little mini rocket blower. I've got a little cleaning pen. Microcloth. So I've got a cleanser, and I've got a number of swabs. It's important that you buy the swab pack that fits your sensor size. So mine's an APS-C camera, and away you go. As a slight health warning, please, 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 if you have an IBIS, a camera with IBIS, please read about how you clean the sensor if you have an IBIS camera. I don't, so I don't know about it, and I'm not going to make any advice. This is me trying to learn how to do this. So the movement is, you put it into the side of your camera, right on the edge of the sensor. You draw it across the sensor, turn it over, draw it back, and then lift off. That's it. In this particular set, we have a spray. You can spray it on the swab, directly on the swab. I'm going to put a spray on one on each side. Obviously, you only ever use the swab once. So, making sure that I do not spray into the sensor itself. Put my glasses on here so I see what I'm doing properly. And now, here goes nothing. And that is it. One more blast of the rocket blower. Put the lens back on, and let's see how we get on. So that's it. That was my first go at cleaning a sensor. I was a bit worried the first time I did the X-T20. There was still an enormous spot left on the sensor, and I really panicked because I thought I'd messed it up. I did it again, and that big lump left the second time. So I'm now confident I'm going to go off and clean my X-T3, which I'm recording this on. And I'd encourage you to overcome your fear and maybe have a go at cleaning your own sensor. It's maybe not as dangerous or as scary as you think. Fingers crossed. I take no responsibility if you mess up your own sensor, of course. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you found it useful, and if you're with me, part of the fear and loathing of sensor cleaning, please try and overcome some of that fear. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.